All right, you ready? Rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you.
Oh, I got chili peppers in my head, James. Thanks to you.
What about chili peppers?
Oh, because he takes after Flea.
Oh. All right, we will call this meeting to order. Are there any visitors' remarks concerning the agenda?
Yes. Well, this is about the Sunshine Act. Your first executive sessions listed. When you say them, could you clarify which is which for meeting times? And I just want to make sure that the potential sale wasn't the one that was discussed in the public a couple of months ago. And you guys are likely already gathering information from your employees about the budget. Can you clarify when you're going to be talking about that in public? Last year, you really didn't at all. You just talked about taxes once at the end, but you had no discussions between each other about the actual budget and the departments and all of that.
We will discuss that when it goes on the table.
You won't actually have discussions before you create the budget?
We will discuss it when it goes on the table.
I'm not 100, you mean on the agenda?
When the budget goes on the table, that's when we will discuss the budget.
Weird way of phrasing it, okay. I just hope that you actually have real discussions this year on it. I understand Commissioner Miller handled the entire budget last year and the other two commissioners had nothing to do with any of it, other than voting on it. So I would hope the other two commissioners would be more involved this year and actually do something with the budget and discuss the options and everything. Thank you.
All right.
Just for the record, we're all critically, intensely involved in each budget with each department. So I don't know where the hell that comes from, but Commissioner Commissioner Miller, and myself meet with all the department heads. If we're not here, we're on the phone. We do follow-ups. We follow up with our CFO. It is a critical moment and most important thing that a commissioner does. Okay, I'm sorry.
And you provide.
This is not a back and forth, sorry.
Yes, that's right.
All right, unfinished business. Consider approving the minutes of September 25th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider awarding the housing rehab inspector contract to Tice's Construction.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion?
Just for clarification, Michelle, so this is the housing rehab inspector who's utilized through some of the housing rehab under the CBDG block grant. Okay. And so this is obviously something we've done year over year.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. New business. And before I get into new business, just so I don't lose track, our next meeting for 2 weeks from now will be held actually down at the Wyalusing Museum on Main Street in Wyalusing. Same time, but in the Wyalusing Museum, and we're looking forward to being down there. So, all right, new business. Consider authorizing the chief clerk to legally advertise for a request for proposals for qualified community-based organizations to submit proposals to establish and operate an emergency behavioral health crisis walk-in center.
So moved.
Second. And just for clarification, so if you recall, there was an award that was made to our Human Services Department, I think of about $3 million.
Yep.
And there were a handful of counties that received this for development of a behavioral health crisis walk-in center. But this RFP will allow us to see if there were something to be developed, who would be able to do it. Because if you just took the $3 million and put it towards something, but you don't have a plan for who's going to run it after that $3 million runs out, obviously that would be problematic. So, this RFP would be who could help utilize, with the utilization of the $3 million, but also going forward, who would be able to truly operate it and make it something that's a functional component of care within our community. I think I said that all accurately.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider authorizing the chief clerk to legally advertise the CDBG second hearing.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Yeah.
Screwed up.
We'll do a third too.
I know, but the second was 2 seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the purchase of service agreement between Bradford County Children and Youth Services and Chore Family and Youth Services, Inc. for professional services effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 inclusive.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the purchase of service agreement between Bradford County Children and Youth Services and Loftus Vigari and Associates Incorporated for professional services effective from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 inclusive.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving Resolution 2025-24, supporting TreeHab's application to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for the 2025-26 fair funds in the amount of $350,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving a cooperation agreement between Bradford County and TreeHab for the Bradford County Home Buyer Down Payment Closing Cost Assistance and Home Renovation Assistance Program. That's a long one.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to second. Any further discussion? And I will add, this has been a wildly successful program that they've done over the last number of years. I can't tell you how many years, but it has actually helped rehabilitate a lot of homes and get a lot of families in homes for the first time. It's way over 100 homes, probably pushing 200 by now, I'm guessing.
When we developed it, we never had the wildest idea that it would be this successful, really. And then, like Commissioner Miller said, it not just brings families, but brings back 2 single-family homes, which is really terrific. So, Mr. Farley runs it, does a terrific job at it, and we look forward to working with him more in the future.
All right, we have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving a letter of support for TreeHab and Bradford County Housing Program to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for the 2025-26 fair application.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the amended agreement between Bradford, Sullivan County Mental Health and the following providers for professional services effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, providers per the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider approving the amended agreement between Bradford County Human Services and Kevin Garcia for professional services effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
So,
Second, and I think this is for translation services.
what's that?
I think this is for translation services, as I recall.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Consider the hires and transfers from Kyle Miller down through and including Joseph Carazzoni. Hope I pronounced the last name correctly.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Under other, there was an executive session held on September 29th, 2025 from 10:35 to 10:50 and 11:13 to 11:15 to discuss the potential sale and purchase of property. An executive session was held on September 29th, 2025 from 11:25 to 11:36 for discussion with our solicitor for case number 2024 IR0087 litigation. An executive session was held on October 6, 2025 from 11:37 to 11:40 a.m. to discuss the terms and conditions of employment of a current employee. An executive session was held on October 9th from 9:30 to 9:35 with legal counsel to discuss meeting procedures and to correct the record. Executive session was held on December 2nd, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for consultation with legal counsel to discuss possible claims of a former employee. An executive session was held on December 23rd, 2024 from 11:02 to 11:04 under section 7084 to consult with its attorneys on case number 2024 IR087 Friends of the Library versus Bradford County.
And I don't know if we want to clarify what the property is that's referenced to the September 29th. That's just, we have that property down where.
No, that's not what we discussed.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay. Okay.
It was
Okay.
the lease.
Oh, okay.
And which one's which?
September 29th at 10:35, 10:50, and 11:13, 11:15 would be, they're both concerning the same thing, correct?
Yes.
Sale and purchase of the same property?
It would be sale of a property, and then if we didn't sell it, what we would do if we didn't have that property.
Okay, so same property, okay.
All right. Another business, April Dibble has been appointed in response to a court order by the Court of Common Pleas to the position of Court Administrative Assistant for the Court of Common Pleas, effective October 6, 2025. And Danielle Evans has been appointed in response to a court order by the Court of Common Pleas to the position of Administrative Clerk 3 for the Court of Common Pleas in the Office of Magisterial District 42-3-01 effective March 26, 2025. And Christy A. Douglas has been appointed in response to a court order by the Court of Common Pleas to the position of tip staff for the Court of Common Pleas effective October 7, 2025. Moving on, Salary Board. There is no unfinished business. New business. Consider setting, and we have Matt Allen, our treasurer, with us as a member of the Salary Board. There is no new business. We're setting the grades and salaries from Kyle Miller, no relation by the way, down through and including Christy Douglas.
I'll make that motion for
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a couple of seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Matt.
Matt, if I could please, I'd like to thank you, Matt, publicly for the work that you're doing in this budget impasse in the state, making sure our finances and bills are paid here. You and Dan are doing terrific work. It does not go unnoticed. the public should know that you're doing a terrific job at it, because that's not easy, is it?
It is not.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, moving on, assessment board. There's no unfinished business. New business, consider approving the following for tax exemptions, and I will just list the names. Cheryl Carter, Michael Martin, John Huber Jr., Juanita Fry, and Michael Newell. They either new or renewed veterans exemptions.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on, election board, there's no unfinished business. New business, consider approving a policy for recording return ballot packages, and that's for mail-in and or absentee ballots. It's just how they're coded in the SURE system.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think we've been provided by our elections director, Renee Smith-Gores, with a proposed ballot return plan. And so this sets forth, prior to the official canvass that occurs on November 4th, when a ballot package is returned to her office, the manner in which various situations would be recorded in the SURE system. And then again, also after the official canvass, how the ballot packages would be recorded. And so, you know, there's provisions here per the policy, which I believe was provided before the meeting, as to when it would be marked for record ballot received. If there was no signature, pending no signature, no secrecy envelope, pending no secrecy envelope. And then various things, if it was canceled, replaced, canceled, undeliverable, canceled, label canceled. And so that would, various situations would call for this. And again, these are all, under the current SURE system, these are all permissible coding.
And that's all it is how it's coded in the SURE system.
Correct.
Yeah, we're not doing any.
Nope.
And so just to be clear, my understanding is by doing this, there's still what we'll call a no cure, because understand that some counties are notice and cure, where if you have a defective or potentially defective ballot package that gets returned, that they'll allow, the elections directors in those counties would allow an individual to essentially get a new ballot package and complete it in a satisfactory manner. So we are not a notice and cure county, but still, if it is determined, you know, if somebody has concerns over whether their mail-in ballot package is going to be counted on the basis of, for example, whatever the thing is that is entered in the code in the SURE system, they then have an opportunity to provide or to appear on election day at their polling place and cast what's called a provisional ballot. And to the concern over the notice, so there's actually, in the most recent Supreme Court decision, there's actually a provision that states that entering it into the SURE system with this code is satisfactory. I note that the dissent in that case indicated that, well, what happens if somebody does not have a home computer, so they don't get, or they don't have an email address, so they don't get the SURE system? The majority opinion actually states in that footnote that if it's not only in the SURE system, but also the voter has the ability to go onto a separate Secretary of State's website to check the status of their ballot package. And because in the view of the majority, internet access is available in various locations other than one's home, that was deemed still satisfactory notice in terms of putting it into the SURE system, which then is available to SURE system for elections of folks, but also through this publicly facing thing, that is deemed satisfactory, and that no additional notice pursuant to the majority opinion is required. So it just, that's my understanding of how this is going to work.
So for somebody who doesn't like the mail-in balloting at all, we always had mail-in balloting, as it's called now.
Absentee.
ballots. I don't like it. Just listen to all the problems that this brings. And, people need to know too, even if you mail in a ballot and you want to change your vote, you can always do a provisional day of election.
That's it.
It's nothing new. I mean, I appreciate you explaining that, Commissioner, but I just listen to all this and I'm thinking, good Lord, where are we going? It's just so complicated. And it's put a lot of stress on our election office. And we always say this, I mean, Renee Smith, of course, does an outstanding job downstairs, and it is hard. But at any rate.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, I think if somebody has cast a valid mail-in ballot, it's not, and again, they should talk to the elections director about it, but if it's a valid mail-in ballot, the provisional won't get counted. If it's not a valid mail-in ballot, and the provisional is valid, then the provisional.
But it still ends up just being
It's only one vote.
That's it.
And, so I just want to be clear on that, and certainly if anyone has any questions, they need to discuss that with Renee Smith, of course, our election director.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I mean, we sit down with all the provisionals and we go over them, each provisional that is cast in the county to make sure that it's fair and legal at every election.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved to, or second, and that's an adoption of the policy as
Yes.
presented by Renee Smith, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Visitors' remarks. Walt Woods.
Commissioner Gates, you said you didn't know what I was talking about at the last meeting with the letter sent out by your attorneys. I'll read the passage. One more point, the county has a general policy of not publicly commenting on personnel matters. However, your continued inclusion of others in the community and email correspondence with blatantly inaccurate, incomplete, or out of context information regarding your employment with the county and separation therefrom may warrant some correction. I hope it will not come to that, and you will take this opportunity to cease this unfortunate behavior and move on. They're basically talking about the employee speaking to people. So your attorneys are saying that you are able to publicly comment on personnel items, and they're effectively threatening this person that you will do that if they don't cease their speech. So that is something that your attorneys say you can do, and that came from Stephanie Farah. And if that wasn't authorized by you guys, because it's kind of real close to a First Amendment violation, I would consider talking to that attorney about their taking actions without the approval of the commissioners. The other thing is that Commissioner Miklenko has requested multiple times that I speak on the names of the people I've been talking about the last few times.
I would caution you not to go there.
Why? Are you going to do something to me if I... Okay, so if you're saying that you're going to... Okay, I won't go there since you are seeming to threaten me with something. I'm not sure what, but I don't want to be falsely arrested or anything for my speech about your employees. And I worry what you will do to me if I speak on their names.
Thank you.
Like you have requested me to do.
All right. James?
Okay. What kind of behavioral crises or mental health crises is that center going to have?
It could deal with all kinds. It's the gamut, the full spectrum of what they deal with from a mental health perspective.
Just understand, James, that currently our healthcare facilities in the county sometimes are the front lines of dealing with individuals with mental health disorders. And so what happens sometimes is an individual will appear at the ER with a problem that doesn't maybe neatly fit within what an ER is historically intended for. And so those individuals have an ability to then go ahead and if there were a center like this, they could be then put into or offer the opportunity to go into this behavioral care facility. It is not a long-term care facility, so the individual would essentially receive care. I believe it's a maximum of 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, right? So no more than a day. But it's meant to get the individual stabilized and really, hopefully, pair them with the resources that they need to help get through that moment of crisis, as opposed to feeling as if the ER is their only way to receive some care and attention. So ideally, if this were rolled out in the way I think it would be intended, and the grant program is intended, that's what it would offer.
So, okay, so there would be, basically they could stay there until they're stabilized
Up to 23 outright, up to a maximum 23 hours, 59 minutes.
This is not meant to be a residential care facility. Right. It's really kind of a truly meeting an individual.
It's a drop-in center.
Crisis.
Right.
Thank you.
To help them, connect them with other services that are available.
And so it would be, I don't know if you have this information, but as far as who would staff it, would they have like nurses that are trained or something like that?
It would be mental health professionals of different disciplines. We're not,
And I think that's ideally what the point of having our clerk advertise through a request for proposal is, to see what the various proposals are. I think that's an important piece of this.
Right.
Where's the $3 million coming from?
Is it state or federal money?
It's, I believe, state money. I don't know if it came via pass-through through a federal grant, but I think it's either the Department of Health or Department of Human Services that it's offered
Department of what?
It's either the Department of Health or the Department of Human Services. I cannot recall
Right.
which one, but.
And do you know how long you'd be able to operate this facility with the $3 million?
Right, we don't know that.
Again, this is what we need to have the proposals for, to help us understand what it could look like.
Do you know where? Do you have an idea of where you want to locate
We have
it,
not
like up in the valley or in?
That's not been discussed. I mean, that's up in the air right now.
That's
We don't
again
know.
part of why we would need to see what the proposals are.
And that $350,000 that TreeHab is applying for.
Yes.
That you've approved a resolution for them to apply for. Is that for the Bradford County home buyer down payment closing cost assistance?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Do you know how long that would, is that for 1 year? Or?
It's for 1 year.
Just to refresh your memory, James, that each applicant has to have good credit rating, approved by the bank, has to have a job. I mean, they have to be already approved for a mortgage. So it's really, it's not like the thing that got us in trouble with housing before, where not everybody can do it. But there's been some terrific success stories of single parents that we've helped get into homes because the money they can fix the homes up, and help down payments. There's so many things that they can do, but they have to be qualified buyers.
And the other thing it's done is it's greatly enhanced the housing stock in the county as far as upgrading, major upgrades to single-family homes throughout the county.
We're about 200 homes, is that what you said?
Probably
Maybe
close
over,
to 200.
A lot.
Well, a couple of years ago it was 120, 30 something, I want to say.
That number, 120, 130, that's the number of times you've placed somebody into a home.
We haven't placed them in. They're in the process of trying to purchase a home.
Yeah.
This is a help to that process.
But it would, okay, so it would be.
They work with real estate agents. I mean, it's just as if, Johnny Bag of Donuts is going to go buy a house. It's the same. All the components are there. Lenders, credit rating, jobs, real estate agents. Whether it's an individual buyer through a real estate agent, it really works well. And Mr. Farley does an outstanding job doing that.
So the number of, like you said, a few years, I guess, probably with 120 or 100.
Give or take. I'm just doing it off the top of my head, but it's a couple.
That would be the number of families that you've helped.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And some of them get this. Do you know how many? Go ahead.
No, I was just I'm sorry, but I want to just give you a little additional clarification of how this works. So you might have an individual or family who wants to buy a house. They approach a lending institution. lending institution might say, for example, based on the condition of the house, we can only lend so much money, which may not be what near or close enough to what the purchase price is. But they'll say if there was additional work that was done on it to bring it to a certain status of condition, then it might appraise out for more, and we would be able to lend more money to bridge that gap. And for first-time home buyers, or home buyers maybe unlimited income, being able to come up with those additional funds to do the repairs may not be something. So TreeHab, wonderfully, is able to step in and say, we will pay for a certain amount of those funds towards those repairs in order to get it to a point where it will appraise out what we need it to for purposes of the financing. And then what will happen is the encouragement and the incentive is if they're a qualifying family, after a certain number of years, it's essentially a loan that gets forgiven. But if the property then changes hands within that period of time, the remaining balance or some portion thereof is owed back to TreeHab. So the encouragement is we want to see people who are first-time home buyers, maybe of limited resources, we want to get them into a home in order to try to help them to start building equity on the home. And we want to encourage them not just to stay there for a short period of time, but really to truly make it a home and have some investment in it. And so that's why this program is so important, and that's why we're appreciative of being able to collaborate with TreeHab on hopefully getting those funds to do that.
And do you know what portion of the homes actually get work done? Because I don't think
It could be all kinds of things. It could be major renovations like roofs. It could be replacements of windows. It could be structural stability, furnaces, all kinds of, but it's major rehab of major components in the house.
Yeah, I believe that not all of the people who participate in this program use it for, take advantage, have the rehab, get money for the rehab portion. They might just get money for the closing costs.
Yeah.
That's
another part of it, yes, but generally it's major rehab. That's generally what occurs.
Okay. The failure rate is very low too on all of this, so I think it's like very minuscule. But Bill Farley could answer any question. We're pretty proud of the program. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had other commissioners from other counties that would really love to be able to do it as well as we do it. Like I said, it's just what got us into the housing problem in 2008. This is the opposite of that. This rewards hard work, rewards good credit, rewards people with jobs, gives people a big hand in getting in that home if they're a single parent, terrific success stories, and it rewards communities because it, like Mr. Miller said, it gets maybe some rougher housing off the rolls and gets some single family in there and gets them a nicer home in the neighborhood. So it's good.
Which helps everybody.
And I don't know, can you say what property you're considering selling that you had talked about in executive session?
No.
It's not much. Because we have a very large. It's not the courthouse, James.
Yeah, no, it's not any major.
That's it. That's all.
I think James more or less covered everything.
He does cover pretty good.
He does.
He's pretty thorough.
Yeah. All right.
I have a couple of press questions.
No, you.
Yes, I do.
All right, motion to adjourn.
I wanted to, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah.
You go ahead, Commissioner.
So, just so that you guys know that this budget season, every year that says it's tough, this I've been here quite a while. This is one of the hardest, if not the hardest. I've got to give you an example. So, the county collects just over $10 million in property taxes. Out of the $80 million, we've gone over this before. That's all state, federal money. You deal with it. So it's not money that goes into the general, it's not general fund money, it's completely different. So collect about just over 10 million. The jail this year is 7.1 million to house our criminals. So that leaves the county about $3 million to operate the courts, all the county services that we do, as far as county government. not the state funded. So it's going to be, to say difficult is an understatement. We're working on a couple of big ticket items which will kind of help us get us through. But to the point about budget time, I've never heard that one commissioner does budgets. That's not in this county. It's one of the best times of the year. Why? Because you sit down with every elected official, you sit down with every department head, and you find out what's going on in their departments. But I think the three of us will agree, this year, the standard operational requests that they need to run their departments. In other words, what they, we've got work through the department here, it's exactly what you need to run that department, whatever it is. The problem this year is that through inflation, incredibly high insurance costs. Again, our employees pay a large part of their health insurance, but is the increased employee cost is really very concerning. We got terrific employees, but so as we go forward, we'll be probably discussing the budget, maybe talking about as the three of us work towards some cuts and some cutting. We'll be talking about that a little bit, some savings, but we're working with each independent. Our department heads, we've got good ones, and they do a terrific job of holding the cost of what they can hold. Employee costs is a whole other matter. But I just want to tell you that before we leave here today.
And no, sorry.
No,
just before I know what, but I know you'll elaborate on this a little bit more. But the one of the huge difficulties right now in this season is that we don't have a state budget. And from the federal and state government, we're sitting here with a lot of unknowns as to what monies will be coming through or what won't be coming through in the coming year. And yet we have to have a budget completed, on the table, and voted on by the end of the year. We don't have a choice. It's part of what we do. It's what we have to do. It's really, really difficult when you look at it from the standpoint of the unknown of what you may or may not get in the coming fiscal year for the state, which happens to run from July 1st to June 31st or 30th of next year. Oh, anyway.
No, just two things. So obviously this is a season where we are gathering a lot of information from our department heads and trying to understand if there's a proposed increase that they're offering to us, understanding what the justification is, if there's a proposed decrease, why that is. This is information that comes to us, and then obviously when the time comes to put something on the table, there's something put on the table, and then we can assess whether there needs to be deviations from the proposed or not. But we don't get to put three different proposals on the table. One proposal goes on the table. And so that's what we then have to discuss and work off of. I'll just close by saying that Saturday, October 11th, is Let Freedom Read Day. And I was looking at the list of books that sometimes get challenged, and there were a lot of the classics that I know that I read when I was in high school. The Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, Animal Farm, Lord of the Flies, The Jungle. So these are books that presented me with challenging and important ideas. Importantly, I would say in this moment of national reflection and attempts to bridge the political divide, there is a need for less seclusion in one's bubble, more exposure to ideas that are uncomfortable but which spark necessary conversations in good faith. So good literature presents less those answers that we seek, but the questions that we may need to ask ourselves. So I would encourage all Bradford County residents on October 11th, read something that challenges you, maybe outside of your lane, outside of your bubble. Do it as an expression of patriotism. Try to understand some things that maybe you haven't been exposed to before. That's the gift of American literature, and I hope everybody takes advantage of that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Can I just ask something?
Second.
You said, Doug, you said that regarding the state budget impacts, you're considering some big ticket.
No. In our budget.
Our budget.
The state budget, all we can do is.
Well, I thought you meant like regarding how you would respond to the state budget impacts. You were considering some big ticket ways.
I must have been.
And I,
Yeah, maybe I confused them. Just like our budget. Usually by this time each year, we're going to give you an indication of our budget. We can't do that this year because it's just the things that we can't control screamed out like every household. Unfortunately, you know, the inflation over the last couple of years, which we've been able to work with, it's just blown the top off from everything. That's what we're going to be looking at. My point was the three of us look at some big ticket items that we think we can save some money on. Where we can't save money on is the general, where I'm praising our department heads and our elected officials, is the day-to-day operational needs that they have within their budgets to run their offices. They just hold it tight. But the things that we can't control, you know, but as we go forward, I just want to tell you that we're going to be looking for not cutting, as we always say, we're not going to cut rubber bands and paper clips. You got to look for substantial savings in the budget, things that you're going to do differently, maybe cut, you know, so that way that we can alleviate the stinking pressure that's on that budget this year.
Let me just clarify something, right? So we're sort of in an interesting moment because not only do we have currently a federal shutdown and we don't know how that's going to end, we don't know when that's going to end, we don't know what funding streams may be affected by that, number one. Number two, we have a state budget, which again, we don't know how that's going to affect our budget. I believe Commissioner McClinko has alluded to the inflationary pressures that exist. We are still waiting to hear what the cost of our health care will be, which obviously comprises a major component of our budget every year. So we don't know what percentage increase we're going to have. That's going to inform what different proposals come from different department heads. But again, all of these sort of unknowns go together. We are also in a year where your Act 13 dollars year over year have continued to decrease. ARP ESSER funds, which are the COVID relief funds, ran out and I believe had to be expended by the end of 2023, so those aren't there. So you have sort of this accretion of budgetary pressures. And so then you have to, as commissioners, we have to look at what our department heads give us and take that information into account and then decide where we go. So these are all, you know, still in early days. I'm sorry, Commissioner Miller.
And the difficult thing, and I'll just put icing, well, not icing on the cake, but put a cap on this. At the county level, township level, school board level, at all levels of government, with the exception of the federal government, we can't spend more than we take in. We can't print our own money. The federal government's the only entity that can print its own money. And right now we're standing at close to, well, actually over $37 trillion in debt and counting. And if anybody's ever watched a debt clock, it's not fun to watch those numbers spin by. But we can't do that. We have to live within our means. And that's what makes this very difficult. It's difficult at township level, it's difficult at school level, it's difficult at county level. And so, you know, and then not having a budget that's over 3 months overdue makes it even more difficult. So anyway.
Well, here's some good news. So the good news is that, you know, as you know, the Bradford County was awarded $25 million, $75 million total for the surrounding counties through the hard work, starting right here in this office through broadband. We will be traveling to Washington, D.C. in the next 2 days as soon as we get a hard date. Mm-hmm. We'd like to thank our Congressman Dan Muser and our Senator Dave McCormick for helping us get a meeting with the Deputy Secretary of Commerce. And maybe Zach could maybe elaborate on Ariel Roth, who she is, the importance of this meeting. And if I could just continue on kicking it back to you guys. Well, why is this good news? First of all, we're blessed with natural gas. And one of the reasons we held a line on taxes over the years because the developments, the hotels, the different buildings that were built, the different improvements that are still going on, and landowners are getting royalties. So even though our Act 13 is dwindling, we still get a nice amount of Act 13. We're very blessed, very thankful to God for the blessing that He's given this county. Now back to the broadband. Why is that good news? Well, because we're going to be able to complete stuff. Again, we have created the only task force for data centers in Pennsylvania, our county, because Bradford County is right on the target for data centers. And because of the broadband, because of all the things that are going on with that, because of it started with Commissioner Gates getting approval from the PUC, and then the other commissioners, Commissioner Miller, myself, over the years, coming up with the funding to get it all started, having a vision, and sometimes leadership isn't knowing where you're going, it's heading out into the dark woods, knowing that you gotta go there. But so everything is coming together, natural gas, all of our resources, all of our, different things that we have in our county, and broadband to attract data centers. Now, we're going to be talking what that means to our county, if it's right for us. There's been $92 billion that can be talked about through that first year Senator McCormick brought into the state, which is unbelievable. And Northeast PA is on the target. But that's how you keep from raising taxes and having maybe an opportunity in the future to cut taxes, is through that growth. Data center growth could be absolutely life-changing for a county, for townships that attract them. So there is good news through all this bleak budget process that we're going through, the federal government not being able to get a budget passed, and the state government, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but that really affects us, quite frankly. We could be seeing borrowing money at the end of the year if they don't get that resolved. So, because we can only deplete, again, $10 million in property taxes, and you look at a big chunk like the jail at 7.1, and you look at other big hits on that, it doesn't take a math scientist to understand it depletes very quickly. So through the bleak stuff, there is some real good news. We're going down, and then if you two guys could explain why that meeting in DC is so important.
I'll endeavor to do so. So understand that after the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority submitted its plan in early September for what the proposed package of projects would be within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that project package included, again, I forget the exact number, but north of 70 million that would be awarded, if accepted, it would be awarded to the Central Bradford Progress Authority for the rollout on development of a dark fiber infrastructure, as well as fixed wireless across a swath not only of Bradford County, but also Tioga County, Lycoming County, Sullivan County, Wyoming County, and Susquehanna County. So 6 counties.
7 counties, I think, altogether was.
Yeah, maybe I'm losing track, but a lot of counties in the surrounding Bradford County. The idea being is that it would, but that's the PBDA's proposal. So now it goes up to the NTIA, which is within the Department of Commerce. The NTIA is chaired by, I can't remember if it's Assistant or Deputy Secretary Ariel Roth. And so the meeting that will take place hopefully next week will be one for the commissioners as well as the Central Brad Progress Authority to explain in particular to Deputy Secretary Roth the importance of the project as presented and why it is critical to our area and why the PBDA's proposal should go forward without any change in what is proposed for what Central Bradford Progress Authority is doing. So again, one of my favorite quotations is Louis Pasteur saying that chance favors the prepared mind. And we have to be prepared. And part of the preparation is helping other people understand what this project concerns. And so we're happy to do that on behalf of the county, and we look forward to the opportunity of educating our federal counterparts on what this means.
Yeah, if I could just say this one more time, and I don't know if you guys reported this, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for 2 people. ex-Senator Scott Wagner and Senator Christian Phillips Hill, who we went to, gave us, we're going to blow the socks off this Deputy Secretary of Commerce and what we've done through natural gas, through emergency, through safety, through our broadband project. There's none like it in the United States that they're going to hear from. It covers, I think, one of the other commissioners said it covers about all of the president's initiatives through energy, broadband, all of it, development, all of it, data center preparedness, readiness, all of it. And I'm pretty excited to take a team down there, and we'll probably have a half an hour, maybe a little bit more, but and to tell these people the good news of Bradford County and what we've done and why they should push it forward. But again, please, I want to they didn't do it for this. Publicly thank Congressman Muser for getting us and Senator Cormier for getting us the meeting, supporting us. I mean, Congressman Muser gave us $1 million towards the broadband. The only money that we've gotten outside of our own to do it. And then Senator Wagner and Senator Christian Phillips Hill, we would not be having this conversation without those two people, period.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.